Boom! What's up, guys? You know, it occurred to me, I've been doing just hip hop reviews and little topics on movies here and there. When today I decided to do something a little different, right? So I don't know if you noticed, I'm a horror movie buff, right? Which, by the way, that Friday the 13th review is coming. Should be out later tonight, depending on how long my phone decides to load it up for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm finally getting that done. I've been postponing it for too long, and I'll explain why in the review. But I decided that today I want to go and talk about a topic that has been around since the dawn of time, right? Okay, maybe not the dawn of time, but maybe since the inception of these two characters. More so the latter. But yeah, on one side, standing that I don't know how many feet, let's just say William Shatner, white mask, from 1978's Halloween, Michael Myers. On the other side, same height, maybe a bit taller, hockey mask, jagged axe on the side, red, what do they call it? Called the, I can't believe it, the red markings on the hockey mask. Coming and debuting in 1981, Friday the 13th Part 2, because in the first film he was just like a flashback image, and at the end he could have been like another, like a trick. The way he comes out, we'll get into that in the other review. But Jason Voorhees, so Jason versus Michael Myers, that whole topic, that whole discussion, right? Let's talk about it. So there's plenty of fans on both spectrums. I'm a Jason guy myself, but I'm not going to discredit Michael Myers. I'm going to give him credit where he's due. At the same time, what I was about to say is that they both have fans in abundance. There's a lot of Jason fans. There's a lot of Michael Myers fans. In fact, there was a fan film recently that was made that was like 33 minutes long or something. It was made recently, and it is excellent. But this discussion, the actual discussion, Jason or Michael Myers, who would win in a fight? Well, first things first. We have to decide on which versions we're going to go with for each character, because they both have different versions over time since their inception. You see what I'm saying? Michael Myers, for the most part, here's the thing that I want to just get clear out the gate. People feel that Michael Myers, that he isn't human, that he's something else, that he's a other thing. Here's my thing with him. I believe that he is human, but there's something that is unexplainable, an unexplained force that's aiding him and having him be able to withstand all this trauma that he's been taking for so long. It's just like an evil force there. But he's still human at the end of the day. He just has help from the unknown, and that's what makes him so intriguing as a character. Intriguing as a horror movie villain and an icon. It's like, for every other icon, you know what their backstory is, you know what they're empowered by, you know their motives. With Michael Myers, you don't know, and you never do know. And in the later films, they probably try to explain it, but then that's where they failed, because the whole appeal of him was that you didn't know what he was, his motive, what was causing him to survive multiple times. It's just, he is him. He just is, and that's it. Jason, on the other hand, he was a human. He was a zombie, which I don't even like to call zombies, because zombies eat people, and he never ate people. He was just undead, the living dead. He was a demon, and he was a cyborg. So there's 4 versions of him. So, and even though I said all that about Michael Myers, people like to say that the Curse of Thorn version is way different than some of his other versions. When really, I don't think so. Not really that much. The only difference is probably he has extra strength and maybe a little bit more durability. But beyond that, the Michaels in all the films are more so cohesive. They're more similar than they are different. They're not like Jason, where there's distinctively four different types. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Michael Myers from all the films with the exception of the Rob Zombie films. And for Jason, we're gonna go through his four versions. So this is already only at 5 minutes, so we're gonna get straight into this. So Michael versus Human Jason from parts 1 through 4 and the remake. I'll say this: Michael Myers is more intelligent than Jason straight off the bat. That's pretty much a no-brainer. If you've seen both of these series, Jason. I don't want to, not to offend people, but he was like kind of a mentally challenged person. I don't want to say retard because people get offended, but a mentally challenged kid. He had a mongoloid head, not the brightest knife in the drawer. Michael Myers, on the other hand, knew what he was doing from young. I mean, he killed his sister in the first film at the age of 6. So yeah, he's full faculties, so he could definitely outsmart this Human Jason. Strength-wise, they could be similar. However, now that I think about it, Michael Myers might have the upper hand when it comes to strength as well against Human Jason. Because even though Human Jason has impressive feats like squeezing a man's head until his eye pops out and stuff like that, I still don't think that it's anywhere as impressive as twisting a guy's head 360 like he did in, what was it, Curse of Michael Myers? So, that's that. I would say that Michael Myers is probably a better fighter as well, seeing as he parries attacks and redirects attacks from time to time in some of the films. If you guys disagree with anything I'm saying, you could always comment down below, but this is just off of memory. I haven't revisited these films, but I'm such a horror fan, I kind of remember most of the stuff in the films. So, but yeah, Michael Myers, better fighter, better defensive ability. Jason, as a human, he did express some abilities of like agility, like dodging attacks, like in part 3 when the guy tried to catch him off guard, the biker, towards the end, but he dodged the attack and instead chops the guy's hand off. So there's that. So he does have some agility to him and some speed. Jason runs, so Jason is definitely faster when it comes to like full speed. So, I mean, you have that going for him. Creativity goes to Jason as well, because Jason uses anything that he can find, possibly. Whereas Michael Myers has always just been known for the kitchen knife. He'll use his hands from time to time, but anything that's as big as a kitchen knife or just a small, sharp object that's around for the time being, he'll use, but he's mostly known for the kitchen knife, whereas Jason is known for anything. Like, he could take this book and probably kill you with it, just bashing you over the head. And that goes for all formats of Jason, so we can just get that out the way immediately. But at the end of the day, because I think that Michael has a bit more strength, is way smarter, and is probably a better fighter with offense and defense, Jason only has speed on him. And plus Michael blends into the shadows, like he's there 1 minute and he's not, whereas Human Jason, not really that much. So yeah, against Human Jason, I'd give it to Michael when we're talking about Michael from all the films, with the exception of the Rob Zombie ones. So Human Jason, he gets him out of there. Undead Jason. This is where people might get a little bit upset, but if you've seen the films, I don't understand why you would. Against Undead Jason, Michael Myers gets crushed in the strength department. He still is smarter than Jason, but he gets crushed. Speed, they're about equal at this point in time now, because Undead Jason doesn't walk, neither does the other formats of Jason, so we'll get that out the way. And Jason is a lot stronger, because we've seen him do things with strength that Michael hasn't been able to do. I mean, Human Jason was able to crush a guy's head until the eyeball popped out. Zombie Jason, in a scene in part 7, was able to crush a guy's head until the size of like a walnut, with like blood was gushing out the mouth like a fire hydrant. There's that. He also bent the guy so far back that he basically snapped them in half, literally, and he punched the guy's head off. Michael Myers has had some impressive strength feats now. Like, he took, I think in Part 6. I think Part 6 might have some of the most impressive Myers strength feats, to be honest, because he takes a jail door and takes a guy's face and pushes him and blasts the jail door like cold right off the hinges. But still, we're talking about a guy who was able to bend someone in half, squish someone's head like a walnut, punch a guy's head off, throw people several feet in the air like he did Freddy vs. Jason, and in a dream world where Freddy has like ultimate power, he was able to lift like a big oil tanker off himself. So yeah, I don't think even that might come back to haunt me in future discussions, but I don't think I've ever seen Michael do anything that impressive. So strength, wash, speed, equalized. Myers still has the intellectual advantage. But, and then you come to durability, Jason's able to take gunshots like nothing, whereas if you hit gunshots on Michael, he doesn't tend to react well to those gunshots. It at least knocks him out. You know what I mean? It at least knocks him out. Like if you've seen it at the end of part 4, or in the first film, and even in the second film, any film that he gets shot in, he's usually shot right there, and he falls out and comes back maybe a minute or two later. Jason, by the time he was undead, was taking shots like it was nothing. Like he would just take them, shrug them off, and just keep hurtling towards you. So, you know, not saying that any of these guys have guns, but any blunt damage to Jason isn't going to do much. Whereas Jason, with his strength, if he gets a good swing on Michael, it's going to do some damage. It might even delimb him. So, I mean, yeah. So, against undead Jason, pretty much a wash. Giving that to Jason. Now, Demon Jason, this is strictly the Jason from Part 9. No other films. Part 9 Jason. Similar feats to undead Jason. Although, I think that might be Jason's most violent film too. So, I mean, I guess you could say the outcome would be the same if Michael were to fight this Jason, with the exception of you get to add the fact that Jason, if by some miracle Michael is able to wear out Jason's body, beat him down, beat him to a pulp, I guess Jason could come out as a little demonic rat form and try to possess Michael through entrance of some form, through spiritual entrance or through the actual demon creature somehow getting in his mouth or something like that. I don't know how possible it is, but that is a possibility. That's still an ability that Jason has, which is the ability of possession. You know, whether Michael's going to let that happen or not, who's to say? But yeah, Michael Myers is still intellectually smarter than Demon Jason, which actually I don't even know, because Demon Jason, in possession of another guy towards the end, possessing one of the cops, was able to speak. Not saying that it takes a lot of brains to speak, but you know, he hasn't possessed that ability in the previous film, so he hasn't shown it. A lot of people actually hate that scene, but still, that is still a key that Jason can access some form of information in the brain to be able to say, I want to speak. That's, for someone who was as dumb and as retarded as Jason was, or mentally challenged as he was, for him to be able to speak is a feat in itself, I suppose. I mean, again, I'm just going off of memory and hypotheticals. You don't have to agree with anything I'm saying. I could be talking BS right now, but I'm just saying. And then speed, yeah, same thing. They're both pretty equal in that. So yeah, everything is pretty much the same as Undead Jason, except for the fact that Demon Jason could possibly possess him. So, I mean, that's even more of a win for Jason right there. And then finally, Michael versus Jason X isn't even a contest at this point. Michael can be as smart as he wants, but unless he does any physical blunt damage to Jason X, which he will not be able to because he has future technology armor on him, it's not going to really mean much. So, I mean, all Jason would literally have to do is get a clean punch on Michael and probably punch a hole through him or punch his head off. So, I mean, Jason X survived an explosion, and he was And it is hinted at the end that he might have survived re-entry from space onto the planet. So, at the end of the day, yeah, I know this is 15 minutes and my phone is very limited on minutes, guys. So, I mean, I think we've went through all the versions of Jason that Michael could possibly face. And I think the assessments are good. I mean, I'm just, because of my short time on the phone, I'm just trying to get straight to the point. I wish I could do more of an in-depth analysis, but I think anybody that's a fan of both of these characters can admit that know these characters, that aren't biased or anything like that, can admit that against Human Jason, Michael defeats him. It won't be that easy, but he'll dispatch him eventually. But against the other three forms of Jason, I just can't see it personally based on what they've been able to display. I mean, Undead Jason fought Freddy Krueger, so for him to be able to survive all the trauma that he did in that film, meanwhile, comparison, he's fought Tina, who's like Carrie, he's fought Freddy Krueger, and he's also taken, he spiritually survived, at least Demon Jason survived a SWAT team assault where he got blown up by hypnotizing a guy with his beating heart and stuff. Like, there's so much versatility going in Jason's favor when it gets to the later versions of him that Michael, for as smart and tactical as he is, it won't matter at the end of the day. That's like saying Batman is super duper smart. Batman is a genius, but if he were to come face to face with Juggernaut with no prep, no prior knowledge, you gonna say that Batman's gonna be able to beat Juggernaut? No. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, time is running down. So to recap, Michael beats Human Jason, but then Undead Jason, Demon Jason, and Cyber Jason or Jason X flatten Michael like nothing. I will say Michael will probably put up a good fight against Undead and even possibly Demon Jason, but Jason X, no. So at the end of the day, guys, when it comes down to it, it's Michael 1, Jason 3. If you want me to do more horror iconic fights where I put other horror icons, or maybe not even horror icons, just horror characters in general against each other, you can comment below and let me know, and I'll do some research and I'll possibly get those out and see how they go. Again, this is CJK123. Love you guys. Stay good. Stay blessed. Subscriptions are earned, not asked for, so only subscribe if you feel like my content is good enough for it. But if so, then click on the notification bell too, and we'll see you on the next iconic fight that I do. Until then, guys, peace.